I've seen like a recurrent topic that hits very close to home, which is changing your careers in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. I feel like I see a lot of people second guessing whether they should be, doing the same thing every day until they die, even if they don't love it, or if they should take the plunge and just go for it and find, or at least attempt to find something they love doing. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right, if I have to tell you about my journey with changing careers in my 30s, and spoiler alert, I did change my career when I was 32 after 10 years of, being in the same company and doing the same job in the same industry. I changed industries completely and said, all right, let's, what are we going to do now? Let's find something new to do. Before that, before telling you that, I have to tell you that I'm a late bloomer, or at least I feel like I'm a late bloomer. I've always been artistic. I've been singing since I was a teenager, and I was pretty good at it. I am pretty good at it. Um, but as many of us who like art, whatever that may be, dancing, drawing, singing, playing guitar, playing piano, whatever it is, like taking photographs, whatever that may be, you always are going to have a parent telling you, yeah, okay, whatever, but you need to go to school. You need to find, a traditional career and, go for that. And that's pretty much what happened to me on one of my sides, like on the mom side. My dad, though, he's an artist himself. So he always encouraged my artistic side, but was very critical too. So, as a kid, what are you going to do? You're going to follow what your parents tell you that is the right thing to do. So I went to school. I got good grades. But if I'm honest with you, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea up until my 30s. That's why I feel like I'm a late bloomer. So if you are on this same boat, know that you're not alone, because I know it's not just me. I've seen this with many different people, with different friends. But yeah, that's the issue when you give in to the pressure of, you know, doing what people tell you to do, your parents tell you to do, society tells you to do. uh, You just waste your time, although you learn, right? So it's not really wasting time, but kind of feels like if you already know things would like what you want to do and you go for it, things would be easier. So I went to law school. I dropped out when I was 22, and I left far, far away to Dubai to pursue a career in aviation. And that's where I stayed for 10 years. Now, this was a great job. This is where I was professionally in my 20s. This was a great job. I was traveling the world. I was making decent money. And I was building a career. I was getting upgrades, But I was miserable. I was really upset. And you know what the worst part is that I did not know why I was so upset. I had no idea why I was so upset. Because on paper, I had everything that, a 20-year-old would want to have, which is, financial freedom and, the possibility to travel the world, a good job, stable. But, toxic employer aside, I had a pretty good life. But I didn't feel complete. And if you're watching this and you felt this way or you feel this way, let me tell you that you're either going to agree with me, or if you're going through this right now, I will just tell you that this isn't something that is going to go away unless you do something about it, right? You're not going to magically feel better. It's just not how it is. I consider myself lucky enough that by the time I turned 32, I lost my job. I was laid off, as many of us were at that time. And all of a sudden, I was, back to square one after 10 years of being, off the job market. And I had no idea what to do. So I saw myself, standing in the middle of a crossroads and thinking, which way do I take? Should I just try to get like a proper job? I do have great experience. I do have skills. I knew that I would be hired anywhere, which was great. But at the same time, I mean, it would have taken some time because the job market was tough at the time. But I knew I would have eventually gotten hired by someone in a good company, right? Or, and this is the second road, should I just, try, and see what this unknown road has for me and pursue a more creative path, which I always felt drawn to, right? And I had no idea what that was going to look like. No clue. Because I knew I wanted it to be creative and I knew I wanted it to be free and remote, but I didn't know what it was, right? So when you come across a crossroads like that, I mean, you, of course, a lot of things that are going to come into play. Should I take the obvious road? Should I take the safe road, or should I just, go for it? And then I remember a magnet I had in my house that I bought when I was 23 while I was on a work trip in Sydney, Australia. And I don't know why I saw this magnet and I bought it, and it said, "It's never too late to be who you might have been." And I had it on my fridge. And I remember looking at it and saying, it's not too late. I'm 32. I'm not thank goodness I'm healthy. I'm still young. I do have all these skills and experiences and experience that I did not have when I was 22. So, if anything, I'm in a really good position to go into the unknown. So, fuck it, let's go. So, I went. And I wish I could tell you it was easy and it was smooth. But no, it was horrible and beautiful at the same time. Because the thing is, when you decide that you're going to take the plunge and try to do something you love, you're going to come across this question. And I would love to know if you feel this way too. Let me know, because I'm genuinely interested to know if, you feel this way too. You're going to ask yourself, great. So what do I want? I had no idea what I wanted. I did not know. I knew I wanted creativity. I wanted freedom. I wanted a job that I loved, waking up to do every day. I wanted money. I wanted happiness, I didn't want this horrible feeling, like something was squeezing my chest and my throat. And I was, and this horrible feeling I had every time I had to go to work at my previous job, looking at the clock every 2 minutes to see when it was already time to go home. I did not want that. I wanted a job that I would just lose track of time doing it because I enjoy it so much, you know? So, well, at least I knew that, right? So, but it wasn't clear on what I wanted to do exactly. And I feel like I went through different stages. So the first stage was taking my foot and stepping into this unknown road and starting to walk and starting to try different things. So I knew social media was something I liked. So I said, you know what? I could do social media for people. Well, I'm just going to do a certification to see, if it's something that would interest me. And I did, and I got the certification while working with different friends, and there were different, projects helping them with social media, not making much money at all. But I knew it wasn't about money yet, right? So I did that. That felt good. And I said, okay, I think we're on the right path. And it's like you're walking blind though, because it's like you're going through this road and it's pitch dark. You do not know what's coming next. And it's not only scary, yes, it is, because darkness is scary, but it is also so beautiful because you don't know what's coming next. So, how exciting is that? Something amazing might be ahead. And I'm telling you that it already was way better than, where I was 2, 3 years before, which was, with a steady job, with money, safe. It was better because, doing the same thing like Groundhog Day, it was just horrible. It was awful. So going through this unknown road to me was so exciting. It was so adventurous. I hadn't felt so alive in a while, if not ever. So I kept going. And then, I started putting a business together. I changed to different times and whatnot. And then it got to a point where, I had enough experience and I felt confident enough that I started, pitching bigger businesses. And then eventually I was being approached by big startups and big companies that wanted to work with me. And this was about 3-4 years into this change, right? Yeah, I want to say 3 years into this change because I've entered this last part of the journey in the last year. I became very good at what I did, so much so that even one of my clients who I love dearly, they said, we want you to come to New York and, come with us, cover an event with us. It was a big award show because we want to see you in person. I was working remotely. I did the digital nomad thing. And we'll cover expenses. Just come and hang out with us and work from here just for like, a couple of weeks. And I said, all right, let's go. And all of a sudden I was there. Someone had actually paid for me to go there, to go to the other side of the world from where I was, to go to New York. And New York has this connotation for me that's like, if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. And it's so true because, it's New York. So to me, that was a pivotal moment. It felt great, but it really did take a lot. It did take a lot to get there. And then I managed to get a different job where, I started working with a bigger startup. Well, this other thing wasn't a startup, but this was a bigger startup than the ones that I had been working for before. And we started doing great. And in the past 5 months or so, I'm like, okay, but I'm kind of getting stuck in this, I'm doing what I like, something that I love, yes. And I like my job, but I'm getting stuck in that place of, like every day I'm doing the same thing, like I don't want to lose the passion, the momentum. So what did I do? I started my little YouTube hustle, which I had begun a year ago, but I kind of like stopped because I felt like, no, who's going to want to listen to me? Who's going to want to watch what I put out there or listen to what I have to say? And I thought the worst thought that I promised myself I wasn't going to think again after I made this pivotal career and life change in my early 30s, now at 36. I thought, I'm too old. I am too old. People are not going to want to watch, the content I put out there. If I do travel vlogging, who's going to want to see that? I'm like, I'm older. People in my age, like most of them have families. They have like their own thing going on. They're not really interested. And then I just said, stop. Like, how are you back in this place again? This is ridiculous. And I literally had to pull myself out from that space and say, no, like you're scared, yes, but you're going to do this. You're going to do it. And That's it. And here we are, guys. Here I am. I actually managed to grow my channel a bit, and of course, I appreciate it if you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube for you to like and subscribe. So you encourage me to keep making, content. But in general, I felt like, I was back in that place. I was that 22-year-old again who thought she was too old, except that same person, i.e., me, had a huge career change and accomplished amazing things in her early 30s. And now, when she's just past her mid 30s, doesn't have enough confidence to, put herself out there and do what she actually wants to do. What is that about? And I kind of feel like it's society like making you feel like, oh, time, right? And for us women specifically, because, yes, it's true. We do have a biological clock. So if you do want to become a mom, you have to be mindful of that. But then again, if you don't want to become a mom, I mean, it's fine too, but I don't know. Whenever I feel like, oh, I might be too old, I remind myself of the fact that, you're not an incubator. You're not a human incubator. If you do want to have kids, that is perfect and you will do it at your own pace. But don't think that the incubator is going to stop working. And no, 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 you're going to have kids in whatever way you want to. You're either going to adopt a child or whatever it is that you want to do, you will become a mom. But it's not a big deal. Just what's important right now is that you're doing something that fulfills you. And that's what I want to tell you today. If you're watching this because you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in my 30s. Like, how am I going to change careers? No one's going to hire me. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that. No, you're not. The only person who's putting limitations on yourself is you. Because I'll tell you one thing. You know what all those people who failed and didn't make it have in common? That they did not keep trying. And I'll leave you with that. Keep trying. Keep going. The first thing you need to do is gain clarity. Journal. Try to write down possibilities. What would you like your life to look like? Write it all down and clarity will come to you because that's the first thing you need to have if you want to do anything in life. You need to be clear on what you want to do. And the only way to find clarity is not by buying, a course or, a book or getting a coach or whatever. No, it's by looking within. And looking within is freaking hard. It's so hard and it's so humbling. Because when we look within, we find things that we may not want to see. So, what is it that you don't want to see? Why are you putting all of these, obstacles to have the life that you dream of having? Is it because you don't know how to get there? You don't have to know how to get there. You don't have to know at all. You just have to know where you want to go. And trust me, you will find a way. It's like when you get in the car, you want to go somewhere. Let's say your phone dies, you don't have Google Maps, you don't have anything. You're going to start driving around. You're going to maybe look at the sun to see the position of the sun. And maybe in that way, you'll know if you're going, north, south, whatever. And you're going to keep trying until you eventually get there or until you get to a place where you can plug in your phone and use Google Maps. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep trying. You keep going. If you give up, I'll tell you right now, 100%, you will not succeed. So I don't care that you're in your 30s. I don't care you're in your 40s. Hell, I don't care you're in your 50s. Keep fucking going and do it for you. Don't do it for anyone else. Because I feel like many of us, and dear millennials, I feel like we should be holding hands in a circle right now. But it's the truth. We are such people pleasers. We want to do everything so mom is happy, so dad is happy, so the family thinks, that they're so proud of us, or, your little sister is looking up to you, and, your brother accomplished this, your older brother, so, I can't stay behind. No, we're all different human beings. We're all different human beings. So, you, as a human being, what do you want to do? Look within, write it down. Figure out the destination. Once you figure out the destination, write it down on a post-it. Put it on, I don't know, in your desk, put it, in your room, and like in the mirror, wherever you can see it every day. And remind yourself that that's where you're going. Trust me, if you start really feeling that that's where you're going to end up, things will align and you will start taking small actions that will take you there, and everything will work out so that you get to your final destination and you're going to get to where you want to be. But the first question you need to ask yourself is, where do I want to go? And once you figure that out, trust and keep trying. Even if it gets shitty and hard, which it will, keep trying. I guarantee you'll get there.